Hi, it's Alison from the Law School Toolbox. Thanks for joining us for the Second Semester ReBoot series. Let's do it. So now let's move on to another very common 1L problem, lack of structure and other organizational issues. In the time-pressured environment of law school exams, it's tempting to just type as quickly as you can, organization be damned. This is a mistake. If your essays are easy to read and flow logically, your professor can more easily figure out what you're trying to say and give you points. Your professor's only going to spend a few minutes grading each exam, even though you spent hours writing it, so you want to make it easy for them to give you the most points possible in that grading time frame. Generally, your professors want to see your essays written in some type of IRAC form, but that directive in and of itself does really not give you a whole lot of guidance. A common mistake with IRAC is to state the overarching issue and then do a rule block or rule dump with a bunch of rules from the semester that seem at least sort of applicable. Usually this comes from either feeling anxious about getting all the rules on the page or not really understanding that IRAC isn't a macro structure, but rather a guidance for each of the paragraphs within the essay. In either case, the effect is that the analysis aspect of the essay becomes a narrative about what you think might happen, or as discussed above, a series of conclusions, loosely alluding to the rules, that build a case for which party you think will be the most successful. Avoiding this rule dump plus narrative is the key to having a good structure in your essay. Instead, think of IRAC as a format for each paragraph, so that you break the rules down into elements and analyze each part separately. The other part of this common misstep is that the organization is such that various issues are commingled together rather than each getting their own discrete paragraph. This can cause the professor confusion when reading the exam, as they have a difficult time parsing through the essay to determine which issue you're even talking about at a given point. If you break each issue up, perhaps with a header, your structure will be much better and more successful. So the key to understanding IRAC is to understand that every paragraph should be written in IRAC form. That means every paragraph has its own issue, rule or set of rules, analysis, and specific conclusion. You'll often start with one overarching issue. For example, was defendant negligent? But then you want to break this down into mini-IRAC paragraphs so that each sub-issue is considered separately. Each of these mini-IRAC paragraphs will build to answer your ultimate issue with your ultimate conclusion. But this isn't accomplished with a giant paragraph with a rule block and a narrative. This is accomplished with multiple embedded, nested, or other similar mini-IRAC paragraphs, each of which answers a question that is necessary to answer the macro question. For example, what was defendant's duty? Did he breach the duty? Did the plaintiff suffer harm? And so on. Once you begin to think and write in this structure, the organization will naturally fall into place. Each of the issues will be separately dealt with, and the essay will have a logical flow with a series of conclusions, supported by a rule and an analysis, building to the ultimate answer to the ultimate question. As you review your work, look carefully at the structure. Is your flow logical? Do you use mini-IRACs to address individual sub-issues, or is everything kind of jumbled together? If you see structural problems, keep these in mind as you move forward, so you can correct them before your next exams. Law school writing can feel stilted, especially if you're used to more free-form, creative types of writing, but it is something you can learn to do. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe. Hit us up at lawschooltoolbox.com to find out more about our one-on-one tutoring help.